The Brown trial begins. I guess this is actually technically day 2. I believe jury selection was on day 1. I'm not sure if there was any jury selection before yesterday, but I do want to tell you a little bit about what I saw inside the courtroom today. As Ed and Elaine Brown faced charges related to their protracted standoff with authorities over refusal to attend a trial. Standoff is not quite the right word, but anyway. First thing I saw in the trial here in Concord, New Hampshire, was the second half, maybe the second 2/3 of the prosecution's initial presentation to the jury. And the prosecutor was Arnold Huftalen. I may not be saying his name right. It may be pronounced Huftalen. But he made what was a soft-spoken and pretty persuasive presentation to the jury. And he seemed to be, without really coming out and saying it that much, trying to show U.S. Marshals and U.S. paramilitaries as being humane in their handling of the standoff. Eventually, they did arrest Ed and Elaine Brown without serious injury, but there was a lot of discussion from the prosecutor regarding the lengths they went to avoid shooting the Browns. Now, there was quite a bit of discussion of a thing called the SOG. I guess it's a Special Operations Group or something along those lines. It's U.S. paramilitary is probably the best word for it. An organization that is designed, quote, to do things that need to get done. This organization, led by David Robertson, spearheaded at least parts of the process of trying to get Ed and Elaine Brown arrested originally during the first months of the standoff, or at least in June 2007 they were apparently involved in that. Huftalen talked about them quite a bit. I'll be giving more details, but he said that this started as a peaceful tax protest and degenerated into something more violent. He finished his presentation, and then I want to tell you a little bit about how the defense attorneys handled themselves. There's, of course, a lot of discussion. I believe these are both what they call appointed defense attorneys, public defenders. I'm not positive. Of course, there's a lot of discussion about whether those folks really do their job, whether they really try to defend you or not. It appeared, for the most part, that these folks, they seemed to me to be doing a relatively good job. The first one, I believe his name is Bjorn Lang, was allowed to make some arguments with regard to the tax code and the Browns' feelings about the tax code, more than I expected him to be able to make. There's also something else that occurred in here I think is significant, is that the U.S. government personnel, particularly Arnold Huftalen, verified Danny Riley's story regarding the way that the June 7th aborted raid went down. June 7, 2009, federal paramilitaries attempted to arrest Ed Brown, ran into Danny Riley instead, ended up firing a couple non-lethal rounds at him. Well, that was in dispute for a while as to whether Danny was right when he said that he'd been shot at. Apparently, the government has verified that today. Maybe they verified it before, too, but this is the first official confirmation I've heard that they actually shot at him. That's all I can think of to tell you just right off the top of my head that went on. But, of course, I had a lot of interesting conversations in there. I talked to J.J. McNabb, the pro-federal blogger who tracks the tax denier movement and doesn't like them very much. They don't like her very much, but I do find her interesting to talk to. Asked her to go on camera with me for an interview, and she declined. She said she's been getting death threats. I've asked if there's anything I could do to help alleviate that kind of problem, but she said there wasn't anything. Anyway, I will be here probably for the rest of the day, the rest of today's segment of the trial, and we'll try to bring you more information as I can. Dave Ridley signing off from Concord, New Hampshire, from the Brown trial. This June 30th, 2009.